Read a verse here that God has used. It says Galatians 5 and 14 and 15. It says, "For all the law is fulfilled in one word, even in this, that thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. But if you bite and devour one another, take heed that you be not consumed one of another." And that word devour, if you look at the Strong's Concordance, it's basically, my Bible's notes says that basically Paul was saying don't act like animals. And that word devour, it has in the Greek, it has a connotation of something you would use to describe a dragon or a monster. And God has been working on me in this area of loving people. And my wife says I'm not qualified to talk about this, but I'm going to give it a shot. There is a time to, stand your ground, don't back down. But if you read the account of Jesus and how they betrayed him and crucified him, there was about every aspect of human depravity on display and how they pulled that off. And yet when, Jesus, he's God, but he's man, and he's a tough guy, right? He's not going to back down from anything. But when Judas came to betray him, he called him a friend. And I'm not the hero of this testimony, but after I got saved, we're a bit of a rough and tumble family, I guess. My dad, he's a good man. He's passed away now, but him and my brothers and we got into an altercation, and after I got saved, it wasn't good. And they broke one of my ribs, and before the whole thing was done, I took my truck and I plowed through about 100-foot of fence that he just built. And that was kind of what we had going on. That was 8 years ago. And I always, I told him he was going to hell, and I was right, he was wrong. And he always wanted to get the last word, and he was a preacher. He told me pretty much on his deathbed that you do so many good works and then Jesus' grace finishes the rest. Sam Kim went and talked to him. Fred Edwards went and talked to him. It didn't make any difference. But he wrote me a letter that I wasn't supposed to open until after he died. And I'm not saying that it sounds really bad, but I think it's kind of his way of getting the last word. And you could say that he wrote me a letter from hell, and because biblically I believe that's where he's at today. And I work at a truck stop, pass out tracts to truckers and stuff, and lately it's been bothering me. Now he's dead, he's gone. That window of opportunity is closed. And I just started thinking about how, especially with this COVID thing, I think outward pressure will never take this church down. I guess it could. But if we aren't careful, I don't have a problem with anybody, really. But sometimes when you see another church member and you remember something that happened or something that was said, and oh, there goes that guy, Well, I've been learning, God's been teaching me, just pray for that person. And it changes between me and him, and sometimes it even changes the outcome of the situation. And so I'm learning that, and even at the truck stop, you can say just about anything to somebody as long as they know you love them. And here recently I had a Muslim man. I was talking to him. Sometimes you go there and Jared knows this, the only people they want to talk to us are Muslims or Sikhs or people like that. And I probably won't do this now after this post-COVID thing, but I just put my hand on his shoulder and I said, look, I'm your friend. But I said, Muhammad is a child molester, and you need to study a little bit of history. And he took it because he knew that I cared for him. And I think that, I don't know what you think of Donald Trump and the political situation, and I don't really care. I have my opinions. But we're going to look back at this time, this little window of opportunity we had, and we're going to wish we had done more. And it bothers me when I don't have social media because I know I couldn't control it. My wife does. And it bothers me when I see, and I'd be the same way if I was on there, but just inflammatory things. Social media is a sewer. You put your worst thoughts out there that you could possibly have, and then that floats down, and somebody else sees it and says, oh, I'll add to that. And it gets worse and worse. Are we really going to want to look back at this time and say, well, I was right the whole time? Or are we going to try to win souls while we have this window? And I guess there is a time to stand your ground, and I'm aware of that. Sometimes I haven't done that either. But what God's been working on me, and I guess that's the purpose of this testimony, is just to love people and try to win souls, and I'm trying to do better at that.